Testing 1, 2. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For tonight's senior night contest between the Terrebonne Tigers and your Fighting Wildcats. Tonight, we'd like to pay special tribute to the parents of our seniors who, along with their sons and daughters, have made supreme sacrifices to ensure that our program remains one of the elite.
Hey, Jolaise, whatever. If you, camera 4, if you can hear me, move up and down.
Appreciate your support and fully recognize your contributions to the success of our Fighting Wildcat program. Thank you, parents. We want you to know that you are always welcome and we will always remember you. After the game, we cordially invite our senior football parents to attend a social, especially for you, being held in the Destrehan Wildcat.
Welcome back to On the Prowl this week. I'm here with Coach Irvin Hodges. Coach, your team picked up a win over Central Lafourche last week's game. How do you feel about the victory?
It was a great victory for us. It helped secure a playoff spot. Our kids really fought hard. Central was a really well-coached football team. They came out and really took it to us the first quarter. They were up 14-0. And our kids really responded to adverse situations and was able to overcome that. We cut the lead to 14-9 at halftime, and in the second half, our defense and our offense really took control of the game, and we were able to come out with a victory.
Let's take a look at those highlights. Coach, the offense struggled to move the ball through the air, but continued to be strong on the ground. How have your backs helped keep the offense moving?
We have 3 really good running backs. Brandon Carmadell, number 5, he did a great job. Jace Myers, number 20, and Dominique Curley really run very hard and are kind of the centerpiece of our offense right now. Our offensive line is continually to get better, and the passing game is going to improve.
The defense has been pretty solid throughout the season. How do you feel about the way they've played going into your final game?
Our guys have continued to battle on defense at every spot, defensive line, linebackers, and the secondary. We've gotten better over the course of the season. I think we simplified some things on defense, and that's really helped us because now our athletic ability is really starting to show.
The big development for this week's game against HL Bourgeois is the quarterback Andrew Robeson will now be able to play. What is that going to do to this offense?
Not just the offense, the entire team. I think he adds a lot of confidence and leadership skills to the entire team. But to answer your question about the offense, yes, he's a tremendous player. He makes everyone else around him better. We see it every day in practice. He's been our scout team quarterback. I think we're very good on defense, and he does a tremendous job of moving the scout team against our defense. So I think everyone's really excited to see what he can do in the game.
What is the atmosphere like the team after this development?
It's been like a weight lifted off our shoulders. If you check social media, any of the news outlets, the kids are very excited. They've been waiting for this moment to show the entire community, the entire football team. It's like a piece has been missing. And I think the sky's the limit right now because the guys are really fired up. I'm excited to go to practice today to see their enjoyment, just to see their response and how they interact with this, knowing that with this new development, because the potential is really off the charts.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you for having me.
We came out here and we handled our business first and foremost.
We came out and dominated.
We got a nice future. We're going to go a long way.
Hi, we're the Destrehan Wildcat cheerleaders, and you're watching On the Prowl.
Welcome back to On the Prowl. I'm here with head coach Stephen Robichaud of Destrehan. Thank you for joining us today, coach.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
As of now, your team sits at a record of 8-1. You face a battle-tested team in Jesuit last Friday. What were you most concerned with coming into that game?
I just thought the physicality that they brought was going to be a problem for us. Their front three on defense was as good as we ever going to face. Just really tough kids that play hard. They're well coached. They're guys that are always in the right spots. So we really had to play well to be able to win that game. And I thought for the most part the kids did. We were up 28-10 late, and then we had a chance to go 35. We just didn't quite get that done, and they scored too late. But overall, I was happy. It was a big win for us, obviously because of the PowerPoints and so forth. But I just think that I think that our kids played a really good game against a really tough, a really good opponent who had only lost 3 games to some 3 really good football teams.
You beat Jesuit 28-3, as you mentioned. Let's look at some of the highlights from that game.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Under Armour All-American John Emery had a really good game, rushing for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. How different is John from the running backs you've coached in the past?
John is just a total package. He runs extremely hard. He's got great vision. He's fast. There's a reason why he's a top five. He's a top 5 back in the United States, number 1, and he's a 5-star player. He just got everything that you need in a running back. He's got great versatility. He sees the hole. He understands the game. That long run that kind of put us ahead against Jesuit was kind of, he made a move on a DB that really was a nice run. And he's that type of person. He's just extremely humbled guy. He's extremely driven, works extremely hard. There's no reason why I think he's going to be successful, not only at Destrehan, but also on in his college career.
Okay, your quarterback Harold Blood and receiver Quincy Brown connected for 2 touchdowns and 109 yards. How exciting was it to watch the 2 click in last week's game?
I think they were big. We found a matchup that we liked against Jesuit, and Coach Boyne exploited it. Quincy made a big catch to get us to the 2-yard line, and then John scored after that, and then he gave 2 other touchdown catches. And then he had one that was a questionable interference call that I thought could have went our way, but it wasn't. So he's just, he's 6'4". He understands the game. He understands body position. He understands where he needs to do as far as leverage on a defender, and he always does a good job. And he's got great hands, so he's got a lot of football left in him. He's a tremendous athlete, and of course, JR just put the ball right on. JR's really been playing well at the end of the year, so hopefully we can get that to continue as we go on into the playoffs.
This was one of the first weeks where your defensive backs gave up a lot of yards. Was it more so your defensive backs, or was your defensive line not able to get pressure on the ball?
I think it was a combination of that, but also I think the most important thing is we played a good football team. We knew Jesuit was going to hurt us. They had some big offensive linemen. They had running backs that ran extremely hard, and I tell you what, that number 3 Vornado, that receiver that they have, is really a good player, and they've been making plays. Like I said, they're 5-3, but they lost to John Curtis, Warren Easton, and Rummel. So their losses have been to quality opponents. So we knew what we were facing. We knew it was a good football team, but I was happy with the way things worked out. I think if we would have scored right there and made it 35-10, it would have been a different ball game. But we kind of left them in the game, and they kind of scored too late. But overall, I thought our defense was okay. It was 10 points to the middle of the 4th quarter. We just got to learn to finish games, and I think that was a problem for us on Friday night.
Okay, your defense gave up a total of 333 yards. What connections were made at halftime to be able to pull off this win?
Well, we were just kind of, focusing. We did focus a lot on the run because they were in that zone stretch as good as anybody. That was a big key for us, and it hit us on some play action. Jesuit's a very good, well-coached football team. We're a better football team by playing those guys. I just think that Coach Cobo did a good job of seeing what they were trying to do to us, making a few adjustments, and then, we came up pretty big, I think, in the second half.
In an interview after the Jesuit game, you mentioned you were a little disappointed in a couple of plays. How did you go in practice and fix those mistakes? Well,
I think we made some silly mistakes and things that are very uncharacteristic of a Destrehan football team. We had a crackback and a personal foul on one of our defensive backs that if that play doesn't happen, I was alluding to earlier that we get ready to go up 35-10 and the game's over. But that's the kind of things that we just got to do a better job of coaching. I got to do a better job of coaching to make sure that we understand the importance of not making silly mistakes in a football game.
Okay, so this week you play Terrebonne, which will be your team's toughest matchup of the season. What are some things your team needs to do offensively and defensively to win this game?
I think number one, and I always say this all the time, I think we got to stop the run. They have 3 really good running backs and receivers, and there's a combination of all 3 that make them so explosive. They have guys that have been visiting Alabama, Tennessee, so they got quality players in James and LeBlanc, and then Douglas, and then Ward. So there's three quality backs that can go. And what makes them really good is they could take it at any time. They just got they got that big play speed potential. So we got to really focus on technique. We got to make sure that they're running sideways instead of straight ahead, and get more people to the ball, and that way we can make plays. And last year we were very fortunate to only hold them to 7 points, And then hopefully we can do the same by just kind of making it, spread it out, and make sure that we get enough guys to the football. Offensively, I think we just got to make plays. I think we got to be patient. Their defense is big, it's physical. They do a lot of blitzing, and so we just got to be patient and know that we'll figure it out and make big plays. So we just got to be patient, I think, on offense.
And that'll wrap up this segment. Thank you for joining us today, Coach.
Thank you, Q.
Viewers can watch Friday's game live on presstheplay.tv. Thanks for watching On the Prowl. I'm your host, Kiva Peters, and we'll see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's starting lineup for the Fighting Wildcats. On offense, at receiver, number 10, Quincy Brown. At receiver, number 3, Quentin Torber. At receiver, number 11, Kobe Hollins. At tight end, number 9, Carson Ryder. At left tackle, number 66, Avery Wagner. At left guard, number 62, Chase Cook. At center, number 67, Chris Cohn. At right guard, number 65, William Baker. At right tackle, number 54, Jalen Richard. At quarterback, number 13, J.R. Blood. And at running back, number 4, John Emery. Now the starters on defense for your Fighting Wildcats. At defensive end, number 48, Charles Oliver. At defensive end, number 55, Noah Taliasich. Defensive tackle, number 96, Xavier Shelby. At defensive end, number 98, Jeremiah Murphy. At inside linebacker, number 50, Dylan Wooded. Inside linebacker, number 52, Alex Huzel. At safety, number 6, Trent Smith. At safety, number 2, Champ Craven. At quarterback, number 7, Dontrell Smith. At cornerback, number 15, Albert Owusu. And at safety, number 22, Tyler Morton. The Fighting Wildcats are coached by Steve Rivershow. Ladies and gentlemen, the Parish Destrehan the Fighting Wildcat marching band. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2018 Fighting Wildcats. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise? And gentlemen, please remove your caps. The senior Destiny Darling, come on the side, provides our invocation.
Please bow your heads. God, we come to you tonight to ask for your blessings upon this game. Help us to play fairly and maintain strong character throughout. For all of the seniors, allow us to cherish these moments and celebrate our accomplishments from over the years. In closing, we ask that everyone present tonight makes it home safely. Amen.
Please remain standing for the presentation of colors, the national anthem, and the alma mater, performed by the Pride of Destrehan Fighting Wildcat Marching Band. Presenting the colors tonight are DHS Air Force ROTC cadets Austin McIntosh, Taylor Beard, Melissa Frederick, and Elizabeth Childress. attention, please. I have your attention. With Mr. George William Hitchman. Mr. George William Hitchman and K&K Marine Insulation LLC and David Felton, please move your vehicles. That's George William Hitchman and K&K Marine Installations LLC and David Felton, please move your vehicles or they will be towed. Thank you. Meeting in midfield for the coin toss. Captains, number 50, William Robinson. Number 62, Brody Pedros. Number 6, Juan Allen. And number 1, Jacque Douglas. And for your Fighting Wildcats, number 15, Albert Owusu. Number 62, Chase Cook. Number 6, Trent Smith. And number 1, Carl Lewis. Destrehan has won the toss. They've elected to receive the ball to start the contest. Gentlemen, have a good game. The Tigers will defend the South goal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Week 10 of Press Play Productions. I'm Dominic Marino. Alongside with me is
Brandon Thomas.
And tonight we got a big one for you. We have your 8-1 Destrehan Fighting Wildcats hosting the undefeated Terrebonne Tigers. We have district title on the line tonight. It's a great night for football. The stadium is packed. We got a full house tonight, folks.
If you don't love football, it's not the game to watch.
That's right. All right, we have Destrehan receiving. Terrebonne won the coin toss. They deferred to the second half. So we have Don Charles Smith in the backfield. And tonight, Terrebonne, they got to watch out for Destrehan star running back John Emery.
Yeah, he recently decommitted from Georgia. According to the top analyst poll, LSU is the heavy favorite to get him to commit, but you never know.
You never know with these high school football players what's going through their mind.
Number 1, Carl Lewis with the reception, bringing the ball to almost the 50-yard line. J.R. Blood and the ball is about to go to work. Starting for the Wildcats tonight, you have number 13, J.R. Blood, number 4, John Emery, number 27, Kyle Edwards, number 1, Carl Lewis, number 10, Quincy Brown, and on the line, you have the heavy boys, number 66, Avery Wagner, number 62, Chase Cook, number 67, Chris Cambry, number 65, William Baker, and number 54, Jalen Richard.
Yeah, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 47-yard line.
Carson Ryder goes into motion, directs snap to Blood, hands off to Emery. Finds the scene, stuffed up around, said a gain of 1, stuffed up around 47-yard line.
That was a good stop by Terrebonne early. They're showing that their defense is gonna hang around all night with this Destrehan offense. Brings up 2nd and 9 for the Wildcats.
Blood hands off to Emery. Emery gets a pass to 50-yard line.
Destrehan crosses the midfield on that play. 3rd and 4 for the Wildcats.
3 receivers on one side, direct snap to Blood. Blood fakes, throws it to number 1, Carl Lewis.
That'll bring up a 1st down for the Wildcats. 1st and 10 at the Terrebonne's 38-yard line.
Number 9, Carson Ryder substitutes back in the game for number 1, Carl Lewis. bottom of your screen, you have number 10, Quincy Brown. Jared Blood's favorite target. Hands off to Emery, fighting for yards.
That was about a gain of 4 in that play. 2nd and 7 at Terrebonne's 35-yard line.
Emery goes into motion. Blood dumps it to him. Emery scrambling, cuts back across midfield. Looking, carrying the Terrebonne defender all the way to the end zone for a Destrehan Wildcats touchdown. See that right there, Dominic? That was a statement. Terrebonne is only allowed an average of 10 points a game for the opposing side. And right there, they allowed Emery, the workhorse, to get to the end zone.
They could not bring Emery down on that play. He just kept trucking along and got to the end zone.
He took a couple guys along for the ride.
That brings the score Wildcats 6, Tigers 0. And here comes Destrehan's field goal unit to attempt the extra point.
Big drive right there for Destrehan. Last week, John Emery, the guy who just scored the touchdown, had 115 yards versus Jesuit. He's more of a hybrid back. He's a mix of strength, a north to south runner, and speed of an east-west runner. Right. 5-star running back is the Under Armour All-American. But it's not just him. Later in the game, you might see number 27, Kyle Edwards, get some of the action. He's labeled as Emery's successor, but he runs in the backfield with him right now. He's a 3-star. He's getting recruited by Kentucky and Utah. And that's just the running game.
And that's the good thing about John Emery being a senior. They still have Kyle Edwards after he graduates. So Destrehan's got a good running game set for years to come. And the extra point was good by Michael Ehrman, bringing the score 7-0 Destrehan.
Now right here, I wouldn't be surprised if Gary Hill in the game looked to punch the Wildcats, backing them out with a touchdown. The Terrebonne Tigers, led by Ja'Kai Douglas, jack of all trades, quarterback, wide receiver, and cornerback, is an SEC caliber player. He was clocked at a 4.35 40 during the summer. Look to see him, Keyshawn James, offered by Nichols, and Chaz Ward, an underrated running back who was offered by Louisiana College.
Here comes Michael Ehrman kicking off the Terrebonne.
Sends it back. Fielded by Douglas. Peter.
And I think he signaled fair catch on that.
Wildcats defense comes in here hot. Led by Noah Talley, Champ Craven, Dontrell Smith, Jeremiah Murphy, Kelvin Lee, and Tyler Morton. Seems like the ball is spotted at the 6.
1st and 10 for the Terrebonne Tigers at their own 6-yard line to start their opening drive.
Douglas takes the snap, fumbles it, recovers it, runs around the right side, picks up maybe about 2 yards, I want to say.
That was a good recovery after he fumbled the ball. He turned a lost play into something. Picks up about 3 yards on the play. 2nd and 7 for the Tigers.
Ward in the backfield with Douglas. Douglas rolls out to his left, throws it to number 4. Going for the stiff arm, but taken out by number 7, Dontrell Smith.
They'll pick up a 1st down on that play. 1st and 10 at the Tigers' 20-yard line.
Terrebonne, they shocked the world when they beat Hahnville for the first time in 35 years. And put the world on notice. It's nothing to know that bad snap. Ward takes it. Runs around Ja'Kai White, looking to make something out of nothing.
A little shaky start for the Terrebonne's offense. They already had 2 fumbles, but
looked like we found the Achilles heel of Terrebonne, which is the offensive line.
Luckily, they recovered both fumbles and made sure they didn't lose any yards on the plays. But
it's because Ja'Kai White is a great player. He's an SEC caliber player, looking to make big things. Coach Gary Hill said that every 15 years Terrebonne gets somebody in that can be an SEC caliber player. They have SEC players, but like watch right here, he scoops it up and he takes it around the edge.
2nd and 10 for Terrebonne at their own 20-yard line.
White drops back. Nothing right there. Destrehan was all over. Destrehan can stop Terrebonne right here from not scoring on this drive. This will be a big statement.
Another gain of 0 on the play. 3rd and 10 again for Terrebonne. Have 8 minutes to go left in the first quarter.
Destrehan with 1 high safety in the back. Tyler Morton wide open and he drops it.
You gotta catch that.
Something that you cannot do in a district title game.
You gotta catch that. He was wide open. He would have had the first down.
Kai Douglas looking at him like,
you cannot make any mistakes in this game tonight. This is a district championship. You have to want it all right now. And now you're giving the ball right back to that loaded Destrehan's offense.
Douglas is a true All-American. Look at this guy. Your quarterback is now he's a punter. Quarterback, wide receiver, and cornerback. Timeout taken.
By Terrebonne.
You cannot do that. In the district title, you cannot drop a pass. That's wide open.
That's right. It's just not the thing you got to do in a game like this. You have to catch all of these passes, especially that kind of pass.
Exactly.
He would have had the first down.
Exactly. You do that in practice. You do that against HL Bourgeois. You don't do this against Destrehan, who you're fighting to get the district title from.
You run that drill all day in practice. And that was Terrebonne's first time out of the first half. Yeah, Dontrell Smith in the backfield, fielding the punt.
This is a guy you don't want to kick it to, and look where you're kicking to him around, the 50-yard line. Douglas punts it high, somewhat deep.
Calls for a fair catch.
Terrebonne kicks it and stops it around the 33-yard line. So coming back on the field is J.R. Blood and the boys. J.R. Blood threw for 61 yards and threw for a 61-yard touchdown last week. He's really a scramble threat. I asked JR what would his NFL comparison be. He said he admires Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans. He committed to Stephen F. Austin over the summer and has a rocket of an arm.
Ball will be down at the 49-yard line. 1st and 10 for Destrehan.
2 backs in the backfield.
And now will be a flag on Terrebonne. They jumped off sides, started too quick.
This is what you want of your Destrehan. Allow Terrebonne to beat themselves, and you still have to work, but allow them to have mental mistakes and to just shoot themselves in the foot continuously.
Now we'll move the ball to Terrebonne's 46-yard line, 1st and 5 for the Wildcats.
2 backs in the backfield. Blood dumps it off to Edwards. Edwards comes around the right side to about the 40-yard line. See a guy like that, a tall running back, that's really something that you need. Because you can get him at his feet, say around 40, but he's going to fall just because of his height for 3 more extra yards.
Destrehan picks up a first down in that play.
Destrehan playing with a tight end, Carson Ryder, number 9. sends a man in motion, sending Emery to the line. Blood goes to Emery, wide open. Emery wrapped up.
And Terrebonne right now, they're not playing that well. They're not off to a good start.
Destrehan slicing and dicing them.
They need to keep the Tigers out of the end zone right now if they want to have a shot at staying in this game. They don't want to let it get out of hand too early.
Yes, sir.
It's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at Terrebonne's 16-yard line.
Emery in the backfield, Blood. Blood takes a snap, hands off to Emery. Emery up the gut, runs through about the entire Terrebonne defense and goes in unscathed for another touchdown. The score is now 13-0. Destrehan on top with 6 minutes and 38 seconds left in the first quarter. I expected more of a competition with Terrebonne, but Terrebonne, they're fighters.
Right.
Terrebonne, they were down in Central Lafourche until that Destrehan blew out the water, and they came and fought back and won that game. So I wouldn't really be disappointed. I'm really disappointed in Terrebonne right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they made a comeback down the line.
Here comes Michael Ehrman with the extra point. The kick is up, and it's good. Right down the middle to make the score Wildcats 14, Tigers 0.
See, for a game like this, if you're the Terrebonne head coach, you shouldn't have to explain to your guys how important this is. If you have to explain to them how important this is, they shouldn't be on the field.
They know how important this game is. That's the thing, though. But they made early mistakes on offense with those 2 fumbles.
Exactly.
They made a mistake letting John Emery get wide open.
Small things like that. It's the small details that'll hurt you. It's the small details that'll have you 9-1.
And if they don't get it together quick, it's going to be a long night.
Destrehan ready to kick off. Shot fielded by Jakai Douglas. Peters now takes off trying to find the seam, but it's gained on by crew of Wildcats. The defense comes back on the field, hype and ready to roll.
And this Destrehan defense is not going to back down tonight. They're playing as hard as they can. They're going to leave everything on the field tonight.
Oh, for sure. That's one thing about Coach Stephen Robichaux in his 13th year. He's no stranger to high-stake games. The two-time championship and the two-time champion in 2007 and 2008 has made multiple district champions and have made multiple Superdome appearances.
1st and 10 for the Tigers at their own 23-yard line.
Hand off to Ward. Good run right there.
And that's the kind of play that Terrebonne needs to get going.
That's what I'm used to see Terrebonne doing.
It's the kind of plays they need to get going to show Destrehan that they still want to win this ball game.
They had to get them nerves out the system, man. They had to get the nerves out the system. Because this is big. Terrebonne is looking to make it to the Superdome for the first time since 1983. And they didn't even win back then. Douglas hands off again. Looking for blockers. Takes it. See right there, that's what I mean when I say east-west runners. They're looking to spread against the edge and not go up the gut because they know the heavy boys up front like Jeremiah Murphy are going to put their hands on them, and once they have their hands on them, it's over with. You're not getting that many yards. So they're trying to play to the secondary and to the linebackers flowing out just to try to get, some more yards after that.
That's right. Now it's 1st and 10, Terrebonne at their own 46-yard line.
Watch at the bottom of the field, Don Charles Smith. Jakai White takes it for himself and is swallowed by a gang of Wildcats. See, that's what I meant when I said that you can't try to go up the middle because the defensive line, they walk down the linebacker, they stack the box, it's over with. You're not getting any type of progression, any type of yards.
Now it's 2nd and 12 for the Terrebonne Tigers at their own 44-yard line. We have about 5.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
Douglas drops back, looks for a receiver, throws in traffic. Nothing right there. That's a bold throw right there. You
threw that ball in a triple coverage.
Exactly. You throw it with Tyler Morton and Champ Craven back there. Golly. Must be trying to prove a point, but no point proving there. No gain on the play.
Now it's 3rd and 12 for the Terrebonne Tigers.
Big 3rd down right here. Wildcats in the house. Number 4 gets loose. Tripped up. And number 7, Dontrell Taylor.
And that's a good stop for Destrehan. Terrebonne comes up just short of the first down. And it looks like they're going to keep their offense on the field. No.
Now they're substituting for the punt team.
They will punt back to Destrehan with Dontrell Smith in the backfield.
You see they're in their punt formation, but fake punt.
Oh.
That's what I was just about to say. All types of daylight, splits the corner, gets to around the 25. I think that's where he went out at. See, that's what I was about to say. You have so many weapons all over the field playing double positions that a punt is not just an automatic kick, because the kicker is the quarterback / wide receiver, and your line, look right here. Snap to number 50. Number 50 takes it around the corner. He's looking like, yo, if I put my head down,
obviously a good decision
yards
by Terrebonne as they got the first down, and then we set it down.
Pushed out by Champ Craven.
Knocking on the door to the red zone. 1st and 10, they're on at the
White rolls out, dumps it off. Ward cuts back. Gang in a 0, seems like.
But for Terrebonne, it wouldn't have done them any good to punt that ball, because they just would have been looking at another potential score. Three
That's one thing that you don't want to do if you're Terrebonne. You can evidently see by the score, you don't want the ball to get in number 4's hands.
You want to keep the ball as much as possible this game if you're Terrebonne right now. 2nd and 11 for Terrebonne at Destrehan's 31-yard line.
Douglas fake, toss back. Douglas scrambles to the right, rolls out. Excuse me, that's not Douglas.
Terrebonne's coach pulling out all the tricks right now.
Yes, sir.
We've had a fake punt and a flea flicker that did them some potential good to get the ball moving.
It's number 2, Keyshawn James at quarterback.
Only a gain of 2, but it's 3rd and 9 for Terrebonne now.
See, Terrebonne, they're using all their weapons. They have strong safeties that play quarterback. They have wide receivers that play quarterback. James receives the snap, bobbles it a little bit, but drops back, dumps it off to number 1, Kai. Swallowed up.
That'll be a gain of about 2 for Terrebonne.
Watch. He takes it, looking, dumps it off. White tries to find the seam and go to work, but number 7, Dontrell Taylor in there again. Good stop.
4th down and 7 for Terrebonne, and I think they'll keep their offense on the field this time. Obviously, they're too close to punt, and
you got too many weapons right here to punt.
And that'll be another timeout taken by Terrebonne. It's their 2nd of the first half.
But in Destrehan's last game, a 28-23 win against Jesuit. Destrehan, they just need to learn how to keep their foot on the gas the entire game. See how you're up 14-0 right here? You were in the same situation last week. You need to learn how to keep your foot on the gas the entire game because they led Jesuit 28-10 early in the third quarter, but allowed a comeback to end up being 28-23. And for Terrebonne, their last game was a complete annihilation of HL Bourgeois, 49-7.
And right, what you're saying about Destrehan keeping their foot on the grass, they need to on the gas. They need to look at this game when they played Central Lafourche, because the score of that game was 51-7 at halftime.
Exactly.
So obviously they played with their foot on the gas that game.
No disrespect to Central Lafourche, but Terrebonne, they have that quote-unquote dog in them.
4th and 7 for the Tigers at their own at the Wildcats 26-yard line.
Rolls out, tosses. Nice catch on the sideline.
Open.
Are they calling it a reception? Yes.
And that'll be another first down for the Tigers. Knocking on the door of the end zone.
Terrebonne is really turning it around on this drive. Fake punts, toss backs.
And they entered the red zone for the first down.
Now watch right here. He drops back, Keyshawn throws it. And right there, he manages to get both of his feet down. Snap, hands off to Ward. Ward plunges for a good amount of yards right there.
And now Terrebonne's inside the 5-yard line.
Terrebonne in the red zone for the first time today.
2nd and 5.
Sends a man in motion. Hands off to Jakai Douglas. Douglas looking for some seam around the right. Can't get it. Throws a stiff arm on number 15 to Destrehan.
Terrebonne really making a statement right now. It'd be a big stop for Destrehan to keep them out of the end zone. Terrebonne did lose a yard on that play. It is 3rd and 6. We have about 1 minute and 51 seconds left in the first quarter.
Quarterback keeper drops back, looks for an open man in the back. Too far, he throws it out of bounds.
He threw it over his head. Now what does Terrebonne do right here? They're 6 yards away from the end zone, but they also need to get some points on the board. Do you go with a field goal or do you go?
No. Not in a game like this. Field goal won't help you. You got to score, because if you don't score, Destrehan is going to think, they're going to continue to think that they have control of this game.
Kicking a field goal wouldn't do Terrebonne any good.
I would go with a classic outside zone right here, man.
And they will go for it.
Or some type of sweep to spread the defense men in motion. Play is whistled dead.
And there's a timeout on the field. No.
Terrebonne has managed to have taken all of their timeouts in just the first quarter for the half.
First quarter.
First quarter.
That's the first quarter. They don't have any timeouts remaining
in the second quarter.
While Destrehan still has all 3.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just a lot of miscommunication between the offensive coordinator and the quarterback, but you don't do that. You don't burn all your timeouts in one quarter. That's just a lack of discipline and a lack of communication. I understand this is a hostile environment. This is 7-5-8 football, the best football in the state, but you still have to know how to overcome adversity and how to just, get good communication on the field.
And also another thing is time management. They might not be getting all their plays off in time, so you got to look at time management too. 4th and 6 for the Terrebonne Tigers. Big fourth down.
Jakai Douglas in that quarterback for the Tigers. Sends a man in motion. Rolls to his right. Sends it across his chest for an easy walk-in touchdown
in the end zone
by number 3, Chaz Moore.
That makes the score Wildcats 14, Tigers 6, and here comes Terrebonne's field goal unit off to kick the extra point. And that's the kind of drive that Terrebonne needs to give them some motivation to get back in this ball game.
Oh, most definitely.
They close the gap to a one possession ball game. Looking to make the score 14-7.
Because you had asked me going into this last little half of this drive, do you think they should go for the field goal? And I told you no. Because look what that touchdown just did. This whole side of the Destrehan fans is quiet. The stands are quiet right now because they know, oh Lord, Terrebonne is in this game. It's going to be a fight, man.
And that field goal makes the score Wildcats 14, Tigers 7.
One possession game.
We got a ball game here, ladies and gentlemen.
And this is another thing that Terrebonne did. You talked about clock management. They somewhat did manage the clock because that almost chewed up half of the quarter.
Right.
And so J.R. Blood and John Emery and the rest of the offense, they haven't been on the field since 6 minutes.
And here comes Terrebonne. Off to kick the ball back to Destrehan.
That's a nice kick right there. I felt about Washington. To around the 27-yard line.
And Terrebonne did good right there, avoiding the kick and ball to Dontrell Smith because every time Dontrell Smith fields a punt or kick return, that's a potential return for a touchdown. So good job by Terrebonne keeping the ball away from him.
Yeah, going back to the game that you alluded to earlier with Dontrell Smith and the Wildcats against Central Lafourche, that's what scored most of the Wildcats' points.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 27-yard line.
Blood throws it to Emery. Emery looking for a seam. Ooh, just grown man strength out there. Taking the guy for a ride and flag right there, possibly horse collar, most likely speaking.
That flag's going to go on Terrebonne, definitely.
See the guy who just caught the ball right there, John Emery. He's in some good company, along with Kurt Merritt, wide receiver running back hybrid from a couple years back. You got Will Matthews, you got Christian Mose. He's just the next guy in the spot, and you already know who the next guy's going to be after that. And Kyle Edwards, you have him getting snaps and rotations on the field.
That was a huge mistake by Terrebonne. That moves the ball up 15 yards for the Wildcats. 1st and 10 at Terrebonne's 44-yard line with about a minute and 16 seconds left in the first quarter.
Destrehan staying with one guy in the backfield, John Emery. Sends a guy in motion. Blood drops back, looks for a guy downfield. Nice coverage right there on number 3. That was a last-second hesitation play. The guy didn't turn. He had his head turned, looking at the ball, running step for step with the wide receiver. And as soon as he seen the ball coming down, he threw his hands out, not looking for the interception, but to swat the ball away. And that's nice coverage right there.
And now it is second and 10 for Destrehan at Terrebonne's 44-yard line.
But just look at the time that J.R. Blood had to sit in the pocket, man. He sat back, he rolled out to his right a little bit.
Terrebonne needs to get that pressure on him if they want to force some bad passes.
Talk about pressure, they sent a guy flying off the edge, number 33 on the tackle. Linebacker walked down, came around like a mad dog, went back through around the center and got the tackle.
Now it's 3rd and 5 for the Wildcats.
Destrehan staying with a single back. Blood hands it off to Emory. Emory running north to south, getting in the mix of things for a gain of about, let's see, 10?
That was about 10 yards, yeah. That was 8 yards. 1st and 10 at Terrebonne's 26-yard line.
Look for J.R. Blood to get his receivers involved on this next next play. Drops back, rolls around, scrambles himself, but it's taken down.
And there's that pressure I'm talking about that Terrebonne needs to put on J.R. Blood.
You see that right there?
They forced their way into the pocket. They sacked him for a loss of about
Offensive
5.
lineman number 22 and number 50 were getting into what talking and John, and then number 50 decided he wanted to put his hands on somebody, so now the flag is thrown. And it looks like Destrehan is going to get some extra yards thanks to a lack of discipline.
And that will be an automatic first down for Destrehan.
There's nothing wrong with playing with fire. You must play with fire, or else you're going to get hurt. But right there, conduct that's detrimental to the team, you don't want to do that.
And you know, Terrebonne just keeps hurting themselves.
And Destrehan is going to capitalize off of it once again.
They were in a good spot after that demoralizing drive that they had on Destrehan. And now we'll take us to the end of the first quarter with the score, Wildcats 14, Tigers 7. And we'll be right back.
St. Charles Parish Public Schools is kicking off the new school year by bringing boys and girls soccer to middle schools. So if you go to Harry Hurst, J.B. Martin, Albert Cammon, or R.K. Smith Middle School, grab your friends and start practicing. For more information on middle school soccer, contact your school today.
Fighting Wildcats would like to thank Kelly Buckwalter and Allstate Insurance for their support of Destrehan High School athletics. For more information, contact local estate agent Kelly Buckwalter at 985-764-3833. Landscape.
And we're back. Start of the second quarter. Destrehan is 1st and 10 at Terrebonne's 15-yard line in the red zone. They're looking to score here to make this a 2-possession ball game.
Coach and the refs are talking about something right here. I don't know if it's ball placement. I don't know if it's behind the penalty. The coach is like, he's about to do the same thing as the players and have detrimental, oh, he's getting hot. Detrimental conduct to the team, and I have no idea what's going on.
I don't know either.
But you just can't do that.
But it looks like one of Terrebonne's coaches is having his players calm him down.
You know, 7-5-8. And you got hit with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Wow. And that will move the Wildcats to the 1 yard line.
You can basically say Destrehan is up 21-7 right now. Thanks to about 20 yards courtesy of Terrebonne.
Up to the 7 yard line, my bad, ladies and gentlemen.
Terrebonne has contributed more yards to this drive than Destrehan's wide receivers.
They're moving up half the distance to the goal. You cannot make these mistakes if you're Terrebonne. You are only hurting the team. It's hurting this team's chances at district title.
Complete lack of discipline. If you're doing that, what you expect the players to do?
1st and 7 for the Wildcats.
Blood snaps it, gives it to Emery. And the dogs are out tonight. Stuffing Emery in the middle.
And I think the ball came loose, but Destrehan got it back.
That's one thing that for the past couple of weeks, Emery has started to control, but it was a big problem after that East St. John game last year when he messed up his hand. He kept on fumbling the ball and fumbling the ball. You can look back to the Hahnville Destrehan game, he dropped the ball a couple times. Emery in the backfield with Blood. Blood takes it, drops back, throws it to number 9, Carson Ryder, and off of his hands.
And you cannot make that mistake that close to the end zone. It's a Carson Ryder.
Exactly. Ryder is well, if you look at right here, Blood drops back and he gets ready to quit. And Ryder just goes off the tip of his hands. Ryder is a viable option at tight end. But that right there, you can't have that. Number 1, Carl Lewis comes in the game.
Substituting for Ryder.
A true threat when it comes to jet sweep. He has sure hands.
And this Destrehan student section getting into it. 3rd and 9 for the Wildcats.
Blood going to the same pocket. Ooh! On his head. Number 10, Quincy Brown, the junior wide receiver, just laying it on the Terrebonne defender.
And that energizes this crowd.
Straight up monster.
This crowd is really into the game now after that catch. Unbelievable catch.
That right there was a catch by number 10, junior wide receiver Quincy Brown. He's J.R. Blood's favorite target who he hit for just that one touchdown today. He had 111 receiving yards last week. He's a long, lanky guy. You don't send him in the pile for contact because he doesn't have that much of meat on his bones, but that right there, that's what you need him for. Like a kangaroo, just to jump in the sky and snatch the ball.
That's exactly what you want from a wide receiver when he's being covered by a cornerback. The way he pushed off of him and caught that ball. And the extra point by Erman was good, making the score 21-7 Destrehan with about 11 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first half.
That was a pretty good drive for Destrehan for the most part, but they got really assisted by Terrebonne right there, thanks to 2 unsportsmanlike conducts.
And here comes Destrehan kicking off to Terrebonne. Terrebonne having more work to do on this drive.
And don't forget, Terrebonne used up all of their timeouts in the first quarter.
And we saw in the first quarter they were very poorly disciplined, giving up about 30 yards in unsportsmanlike conduct penalties.
Looks like it's a touchback. Some more, I don't know how they got fouled. Destrehan defense comes back on the field.
And it will be 1st and 10 for Terrebonne at their own 20-yard line.
Last year, Destrehan defeated Terrebonne at Terrebonne 28-7. I think it's safe to say that this is a different Terrebonne squad that we see here. They're playing with more fire. This is almost the same group of guys, but they're more experienced now.
Right.
Juniors and seniors instead of sophomores and juniors. Handoff right here to Ward. Found the hole in that Wildcats interior defensive line for a nice game.
But Terrebonne needs to bring that same energy and fire that they've been playing with all year to make sure that they close the gap before the halftime, so they can go into the second half with less work to do. 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line.
Destrehan playing on one high safety, Tyler Morton in the back. Terrebonne sends a guy in motion, poor handoff, get caught up in a little bit of trash. Jakai Douglas is taken down by number 50 of Destrehan.
That was another mishandled snap by Terrebonne.
It seems to be Terrebonne's Achilles heel is their offensive line and their discipline.
They do get 3 yards out of it, 2nd and 7 at their own 33-yard line.
Terrebonne with a bunch of receivers at the bottom of your screen. They're going with the run. Swallowed up right there for about a gain of 1.
Third and 4 for Terrebonne at their own 36-yard line. It's a big 3rd down for the Tigers.
That last offensive drive from Terrebonne led to a score, so they've calmed down since that first drive. The offense is not the problem. The offense is actually getting good yardage. Right here, you come around with number 5. A little zone action, outside zone action.
There's another 1st down for Terrebonne. 1st and 10 at their own 42.
Terrebonne is slowly churning down the field, trickling, getting some more yardage as it goes, wearing down the defense. Bad snap.
And Terrebonne is just not having any luck with their offensive line right now.
Luckily, Keyshawn James landed on the ball for Terrebonne.
That's been about the 4th bad snap we've seen tonight.
Watch, just from jump, just mishandled low to his knees, and he's just crawling, trying to get on the ball for dear life.
And luckily, they don't lose the ball that time, but it will set them back.
Yeah, but that's a bad situation that they're putting their quarterbacks in, because that makes them vulnerable, because you have the Destrehan defensive lineman just on your back trying to get at the ball too.
It is 1st and 22 for this Terrebonne offense.
Keyshawn James, that quarterback for the Tigers, drops back, throws it, looking for number 1, Jakai Douglas, and it's broken up by number 7.
Dontrell Smith. Almost got his hands on that ball.
Great coverage by Dontrell Smith. But you see, Jakai Douglas, he was slow on the route, but once he seen the ball, he had to get some good timing right there, and he sped up a little bit to try to get his hands on the ball, but Dontrell Smith was right along with him for the ride and knocked the ball out.
All right, it is 3rd and 24 for the Tigers. They need a big play right here. They want to pick up this 1st down.
Sends a man in motion. Snap to James, drops back. Wildcats breathing down his neck, finds an open gap, slings it out to number 3.
End of the flag on the play.
Possibly holding. Yeah, you can see Robichaux declining the penalty. that bad snap really hurt Terrebonne. It's 4th and 22. Excuse me, 24.
And those were offsetting penalties. That brings us 4th and 24 to Terrebonne, and they have to punt it here.
I think this might be a little too long for a fake. But you never know what Terrebonne has in the bag.
Right, but they don't want to go for it or do a fake and then not get it. They're too close for that. They're too close.
To Destrehan's end zone.
Yeah.
Nice, pretty decent punt. Taylor declines it. Down at around the 28-yard line. Blood and the boys back on the field.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 40-yard line. We have 7 minutes and 36 seconds left in the second quarter.
Blood is in some great company when it comes to being the Wildcats quarterback. He's in company with names such as Jordan Jefferson, Donovan Isom, Marquise Dansberg, and Cohen Grenier. A little speed sweep right there by number 3. Finds a seam, busting it, getting around and tripped up at the end around the 41, 42-yard line. Excuse me, 38.
That was a good play. Good run by number 3, Quentin Torbor. Picks up the first down and moves the ball into Terrebonne's territory at Terrebonne's 39-yard line.
See how they got Quentin Torbor in an action right there? The Mississippi State commit is usually a downfield or mid receiver, but now they're sending bad snapper. That's right, recovered by Blood. See right there, they sent the guy Kyle Edwards in motion, and I don't know what the center was thinking, but he sent it pretty high, and Blood, being a basketball player, kind of swatted it down to control it and try to corral it.
Smart decision by Blood to keep the ball in his chest and dive forward for the extra yards.
Yeah.
2nd and 8 for the Wildcats at Terrebonne's 37-yard line.
Single back in the backfield to send Carson Ryder in motion. Field, false start.
And now we'll move the Wildcats back 5 yards.
Terrebonne's crowd is riled up by that one. That penalty on the offensive line, who is down one man, Kerwin Mitchell, number 73, he went down around week 4, week 3. But now in there is number 65, William Baker, at right guard. He's doing a pretty good job. But look for Mitchell to come back during the playoffs.
That is 2nd and 13 for the Wildcats.
Blood takes it, hands it off to Emery. Emery just throwing his shoulder in the guy's chest like Earl Campbell, and picks up a couple more yards.
And Emery does not give up easily. He fights for every yard he can get until he goes down.
That's a curse and a blessing at the same time, because you get more yards, but like we were talking about earlier, doing that makes the ball vulnerable to fumbles.
And it also makes it easier to have an injury, but you want to help your team out all you can.
That's right, going one back in the backfield. Blood drops back, slings it to number 3, Quentin Torbor. Number 12 claiming that he was locked down. Number 32 claiming that he was locked down, but there was a flag on the play. Maybe holding, maybe pass interference.
I think Torbor was looking for a pass interference call. I don't think he's going to get it. But they will get the holding call.
Yeah.
That moves this offense up 5 yards. It's automatic first down for the Wildcats, 1st and 10 at Terrebonne's 25-yard line.
Single back, Blood drops back, dumps it down to his favorite target, number 10, Quincy Brown. Brown is Blood's favorite target, but he manages to get everybody involved with the offensive play. The offensive playbook is really, catered towards him getting a lot of guys involved, whether that's Emery, the cash cow, number 1 Carl Lewis, Quincy Brown, or Quentin Tolbert, or even the guy number 11, or Carson Ryder.
Quincy Brown kind of reminds you of Michael Thomas with the Saints. He's got those long arms. He's got those long, lengthy arms to pretty much catch anything.
For rare, negative yard. No gain right there. Terrebonne defender. Watch. Emery gets the ball. Terrebonne defender wraps him up and takes him from the knees and takes him and slings him back to where he started from.
3rd and 2 for the Wildcats at Terrebonne 17-yard line. We have about 5 minutes left in the first half.
Hand off to Edwards. Edwards cuts up trying to get Edwards taking a guy for a ride.
And just like Emery, Edwards is another guy who fights for every yard he can get.
Seems like some of these Terrebonne defenders need to strap some training wheels to their ankles because Destrehan's running backs take from a ride when they're in the red zone.
1st and 2 for the Wildcats, knocking on the door of the end zone for the 4th time tonight.
Edwards in the backfield with Blood. Terrebonne stacking the box. Edwards going for it again, lunges for the touchdown, but it's met at the line and sent back.
Good defensive stand by Terrebonne to keep Edwards out of the end zone. He will however pick up 1 yard.
Number 73, Cameron Mitchell, comes in the game for number 65. Like I was saying, you need a guy like Mitchell because Mitchell gives you strength and just another aspect. He's smart and he gives you good movement on the line. Number 65 stays in the game. They're making some substitutions on the offensive line.
That brings up 2nd and goal for the Wildcats with 1 yard to get into the end zone.
Mitchell is the guy you need right here for goal line offense, your 2-minute offense. Timeout charge to Destrehan, some miscommunication.
Their first timeout of the first half. Smart decision by Stephen Robichaud to call a timeout there. Didn't look like Destrehan was ready for the play.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been too much of a problem for the Wildcats tonight as it was only their first timeout used. And here come the Wildcats back to the line with 1 yard to go. 2nd down. Emery's in the backfield with Blood.
The Wildcats with 6 men on the line and tight end Carson Ryder acting as a fullback as a wedge. John Emery powers through 2 Terrebonne defenders for another touchdown. The score is now 27-7.
That's John Emery's 3rd touchdown of the night. He's scoring points all over this Terrebonne defense.
Watch right here.
Here comes Michael Ehrman with the extra point. Kick is up, and it's good. That makes the score Wildcats 28, Tigers 7. With 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in the first half. And there's a Terrebonne player down on the field.
An update around 5-8. Local superstar Andrew Robinson was unable to play during the majority of the season, has thrown his first touchdown as a Hahnville Tiger on the second drive, a 10-yard bullet pass to Jonathan Hill.
And Andrew Robertson, that's a story for Hahnville. You know, he was ineligible his whole season because of a big dispute with Hahnville, with his transfer from Vanderbilt to Hahnville. And he might be the missing piece that Hahnville needs to get to the dome. But you know, it's a long way to go for Hahnville if they want to make it, if they want to have a shot.
Yeah, they've lost to both of these teams. Like I alluded to earlier, they lost to Terrebonne for the first time in 35 years. They just got shut out.
That was a big game. That was 41-0.
Yeah, and that put the world on notice to let them know that Terrebonne is here. Terrebonne defender is walking off the field off his own strength. Score is now 28-7. Destrehan on top with 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in the half.
Here comes Destrehan kicking back off to Terrebonne.
Ball fielded at around the 1 yard line. Douglas is taking it around the end, beat number 33, looking to beat number 24. It runs out of bounds.
Good return for Terrebonne, and they wouldn't have any chance to get mad in this ball game. They had to score before halftime.
Guys like Douglas, Ward, and they're just guys that you really want on the field and will your team to victory. Also, Keyshawn James. The guys that are going to take matters into their own hands and look to, propel their team to victory.
Terrebonne will get the ball at the start of the second half, so it's very important for them to score on this drive.
Yeah, they're coming out of a 21-point hole. Want to at least shorten their deficit a little bit, 1.5. Hand off to Ward. Takes it, powers through a couple guys for a nice little game.
Second and 5 for the Tigers at their own 37-yard line.
Douglas takes it, slings a rocket of a pass to number 9, who bobbles it and drops it.
And now it's 3rd and 5 for the Tigers.
Douglas in at quarterback for the Terrebonne Tigers versus Keyshawn James, who also plays wide receiver. Bunch at the top of your screen.
Big 3rd down for Terrebonne.
One receiver at the bottom. Douglas scrambles looking for yards, but gets stuffed up.
Now it's a good defensive play by Destrehan, not to give up any yards on the play.
Yes, sir.
And I think Terrebonne might have to go for it in this play. But it looks like they're going to bring their punting unit on the field to avoid giving Destrehan good field position.
Yeah, but like you seen earlier, a punt isn't a punt when it comes to Terrebonne. They're putting strength toward the right side of the field. Douglas receives it, kicks it off. Ball fielded at around the 25.
And here comes Destrehan's offense back on the field with 1 minute and 47 seconds left before halftime.
I think it's safe to say for the first half, Destrehan has been in total control. So I think it's safe to say in the first half that Destrehan has been in total control.
And yeah, I think it's safe to say too, because Destrehan, they keep scoring on all their drives. They're holding Terrebonne's offense to a minimum amount of
Single
points.
back in the backfield, but Blood takes it, dumps it to Carson Ryder, scramble for some yards.
And now it's second down for the Wildcats.
Nice little fake right there, and then a dump to Ryder.
2nd and 7 for the Wildcats at their own 28-yard line.
Empty backfield, Blood takes it, drops back, slings it to number 4, John Emery.
And they pass midfield into Terrebonne's territory. First and 10 for the Wildcats at the Tigers' 44-yard line.
Blood takes it, sends a rocket.
Oh, and that might be pass interference from Terrebonne. Intended for wide receiver number 8, Jefferson.
Now watch right here. Blood drops back, comes up in the pocket, and just slings a rocket. Pass interference against defense number 7.
And that'll move Wildcats up 15 yards. We have just under a minute to go in the first half.
Man in motion. Blood drops back, way back, way back. Dumps it down to number 27, Kyle Edwards, who gains. It's going, and going. Now there was a flag on the play.
There's a flag. Hold up, not just yet. That play might come back, unfortunately.
In a play like that, you possibly could get holding. Some confusion on the field, but it ends up being a touchdown because there was a legal participation by number 9 of the defense. Number 1 on defense, he ran out of bounds and came back in, making him, as soon as he went out of bounds, that makes him ineligible to come back in, and he interfered on the play, which gives Destrehan a score by number 27, Kyle Edwards.
And that'll bring the score, Wildcats 34, Tigers 7.
That play right there, that was risky. But J.R. Blood was bold. He dropped way back, going maybe around, I want to say the 50-yard line. And then when he cocked back, he just noticed that 27 Kyle Edwards was open, slung it down, got it, and then Edwards took care of business after that.
Here comes Michael Irvin with the extra point. Kick is up, and it's good, making the score Wildcats 35, Tigers 7, with 45 seconds left in the first half.
Very commanding lead for Destrehan. Coming into this game, I thought you were going to have more of a shootout, more of a battle, but all this right here was putting Terrebonne on display on the biggest stage that they've been on this year. And sad to say, but it's kind of looking like they were all smoke and mirrors.
And Terrebonne is going to have a lot of work to do in the second half to fight their way back into this game. And the Wildcats, they can't go into this game. They can't go into halftime saying, "Okay, we got this. We're gonna win," because you saw what happened last week. They almost let Jesuit come back.
Exactly.
And you know, Terrebonne pulled off a comeback a couple weeks ago.
They're such a Lafouche, yeah. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen. I think Ja'Kai Douglas, Chaz Ward, and Keyshawn James are going to try to take this game to their own hands and just really try to command the rest of their team. You can best believe they're going to have a speech at halftime talking about discipline and talking about how they're so close to being top dog. They just need to bring it up, bring them the energy 1,000% and just come through and come back into this game.
And that penalty that Terrebonne Tigers committed will also move the kickoff up, which means this will result in touchback most likely.
You are correct, sir.
And Emery kicked it right through the uprights for a touchback. Ball will be placed at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Tigers.
And that quarterback for the Tigers is number 1, Ja'Kai Douglas. Douglas drops back, hands it off to Chaz Ward. Chaz Ward goes to work. Gains a good bit of yardage right there, but
and
now
there might be
they're
a fumble
signaling for
field.
a fumble, and this would be the last thing you want if you're Terrebonne.
And it looks like Terrebonne will retain possession of the ball.
Douglas hands off to Chaz Ward once again. Looking for something on the left side, coming around, getting a good amount of yardage.
At least 6 seconds on the clock in the first half. That might be time for just one play, a Hail Mary pass, most likely. Try and score before the half is over.
Bunch at the bottom of your screen. Douglas takes the snap, drops back, looking for something down the field, like you said, a Hail Mary, finds a guy, overthrows him.
And that will take us to the end of the first half. With the score, Wildcats 35, Tigers 7, and we'll be right in.
With your District 758 championship, we'll be right back.
She is escorted by her parents, Michael and Lisa Bach. She was leader for 4 years with the Pride of Destrehan and has been in band for 8 years. Gabrielle participated in honor band since junior high and was band vice president for 1 year and band president for the last 2 years. Her favorite memory is the time she persevered through frustration at the Atlanta show and changed her work ethic ever since. Gabriella plans to participate in college band depending on where she attends. Our next senior is Christelle Adams. She was a senior last night. She was for 4 years in the Crown of Destrehan and has been in the choreograph for 4 years. Christelle was a choreograph lieutenant for 2 years. Her favorite memory is dancing in support of the football team alongside her fellow band members. Christelle plans to attend Spelman College and major in political science on track to law school. The next senior is Matthew Balzer. He is escorted by his parents Terry and Christopher Balzer. He has been for 40 years and has been in band for 8 years. He participated in the Parish band for the last 2 years and received a contract to perform with the youth and girl percussion this spring. Matthew's favorite memory is singing with his indoor percussion groups in Hattiesburg for indoor competitions. He plans to attend either LSU, Northwestern State University, or University of Louisiana in Lafayette to study music education. Our next senior is Samuel Bay. He is escorted by his mother, Lori Bay. He has led for 4 years with the band and participated in band for 7 years. Samuel has served as a saxophone section leader this year. His favorite memory is when Hayden kept looking the wrong way during a band picture. Samuel plans to attend college and continue being in the band. Our next senior is Ariel Chapman. She is escorted by her parents, Donnell and Kendrick Hawkins. She has led with the Pride of Destrehan for 3 years and participated in the color guard for 3 years. Her favorite memories are from before and after every competition last year. Ariel plans to attend Nicholls State University and study culinary arts. Next is Cameron Frangella. She is escorted by her parents, Carmine and Michelle Frangella. She has led and participated in color guard for 3 years. Her favorite memory was being ranked in the top 5 units at championships for the 2018 Winter Guard Show, Someone in the Crowd. Cameron plans to attend Louisiana State University to study pre-medicine and hopes to continue to be involved with color guard in college. Our next senior is Dylan Howie. He's being escorted by his mother, Judy Howie. He has led with the Pride of Destrehan for 3 years and has been in band for 4. He's participated in parish and district honor bands for 1 year each and received a medal for competing in individual ensemble competitions. Dylan's favorite memory is receiving the silver medal in the state for indoor wins last year. He plans to attend LSU to pursue a degree in psychology and plans to continue performing with the Tiger Band. Our next senior is Emily Hunter. She is escorted tonight by parents Michelle and John Hunter. She has lived for 4 years with the Pride of Destrehan and participated in color guard for 5 years. She served as guard lieutenant for 1 year. Emily plans to attend the University of Louisiana in Lafayette and wants to continue performing with the independent groups in WGI. Next is Shina Johnson. She is escorted by her parents Keisha and William Johnson. She led and participated in band, Pride of Destrehan band for 3 years. Her favorite memory was going to competitions. She plans to attend Southeastern Louisiana University to study pre-law. Our next senior is Jillian Kimball. She is being escorted by her father, Keith Kimball, and stepmother, Terry Hess. She has led and participated in color guard for 2 years. Her favorite memory was during Pan Camp when the fire truck came and the band marched in the water. She plans to attend the University of New Orleans and major in mechanical engineering. Next is Brad Kirk. He's escorted tonight by his mother, Lisa Kirk. Brad participated and led with the Pride of Destrehan for 4 years. His favorite memory is when the fire truck came during band camp and sprayed water on the band. Brad wanted to be an electrical engineer in the future and wants to continue in band after high school. Our next senior is Cameron Piccolo. She is escorted by her parents Ryan and Jennifer Piccolo. She has participated and led with the color guard for 4 years. Cameron has served as a guard lieutenant for 2 years. She plans to be a registered nurse through Delgado and charity nursing. Cameron plans to continue performing in color guard with independent groups WGI. Our next senior is Brooke Sorrow. She is escorted by her parents Erica and Anthony Sorrow. She has lettered for 4 years and participated in color guard for 2.5 years. Brooke is graduating as an EP scholar with honors. Her favorite memory was when the color guard had a pool social and everyone tie-dyed their shirts. She plans to attend LSU and study biological sciences and move on to the LSU School of Dentistry to become a general dentist. Brooke plans to continue color guard at LSU. Next is Alexandra Simon. She is escorted by her father, Marshall Simon. She has participated and noted in Pride of Destrehan color guard for 4 years. She served as color guard captain her junior year. Her favorite memory was when she and Charlotte Woods was awarded Partners in Crime at band banquet. Alex plans to attend the University of New Orleans and study business. She plans to continue performing in color guard by joining an independent winter guard. Next senior is Grace Smith. She is escorted by her parents Aaron and Mark Smith. She has lettered for 4 years and participated in band for 1 year. Her favorite memory was playing ninja at the Hahnville game. She plans to attend the University of Chicago to double major archaeology and ecology and evolutionary biology with a minor in theater. The next senior is Rebecca Terrullo. She has been being escorted by her parents Diana and Giovanni Terrullo. She has participated and lettered in band for 4 years. Rebecca served as the flute section leader for the last 2 years. Her favorite memory was when Miss Muller played 1 page of music over 4 pages. She plans to attend Johns Hopkins University to double major in biology and psychology. Next is Casey Rangsback. She is escorted tonight by Connie Rangsback and Julie Abair. She has lettered for 4 years with the Pride of Destrehan and participated in band for 8 years. She has served as drum major for the last 3 years. Her favorite memory was when she and Gabby covered Miss Baylor's office windows and services with over 1,200 sticky notes. Casey plans to study biological sciences and wants to continue performing in marching band and concert band. Our last senior is Charlotte Woods. She is being escorted tonight by her mother, Karen Woods. She has lettered at Destrehan for 4 years and participated in the color guard for 3.5 years. She served as color guard captain for 2 years. Her favorite memory was seeing the 21st night of September in the stands at the Hahnville game. Charlotte plans to attend college in the state and plans to continue performing in color guard either with her college or an independent winter guard. The round of applause for our 2018 band seniors and their parents. Now for the senior cheerleaders. Our first senior is Brianna Dominguez. She is the daughter of Randy and Steven Dominguez. Brianna is a 2-year member and letterman for the Destrehan Wildcats cheerleaders. She is currently serving as captain of the squad and was nominated for All-American for her leadership skills. Brianna's favorite cheer memory is the emotional connection to Team Aid at NCAA Upon graduation, she plans to attend LSU and major in physical therapy. She is daughter of Heather and Glenn Gavin. Gabrielle is a 4-year member and letterman for the Destrehan Wildcats cheerleaders. She's currently serving as lieutenant captain of the squad and was nominated for cheerleader. Gabrielle's favorite cheer memory is winning the mandatory game in the playoffs and the last seconds of the game. On graduation, she plans to attend Nicholls State University and major in nursing. The cheerleader is Mary Catherine Meeks. She is the daughter of Catherine and Kenny Meeks. Mary Catherine is a 4-year member and letterman for the Destrehan cheerleaders. She served as co-captain of along with the most never to be late award. Is the upon graduation, she plans to attend Gabrielle is a 4-year member cheerleaders. She was nominated for All-American Cheerleader. Hillary's favorite cheer memory is winning the national graduation. She plans to attend Southeastern Louisiana University. Big round of applause for our 2018 Fighting Wildcat cheerleaders and their parents. Now for the Destiny Seniors. The first Destiny Senior is Taylor Brown. She is being escorted by her parents, Lisa and Brown. Taylor is a four-year member of the Destiny Darlings dance team and has been a co-captain for 2 years. Her favorite memory is walking through the castle 2 years ago for 2 years in a row at UDA Nationals. Taylor was selected as an All-American at UDA and was part of the team champions 2 years in a row. Anna Burnham. She's been escorted by her parents, Winnie Sievers and Darren Burnham. Anna is a four-year member of the Destiny Darlings dance team. UDA Nationals and competing with her team in jazz. Anna was part of the competitive team for 2 years and winning the Louisiana Championship. She was voted most improved, most friendly, and most prepared by her teammates. Anna plays the team advertising with a focus. Our next senior is Alexis Nichols. She's been escorted by her parents, Teresa and Cornwall. Alexis is a third-year member of the Destiny Darlings dance team. Excited she felt when she first made the team. Invited to audition for the UDA staff. She plans on attending and major in kinesiology. Our next senior is Danielle Fiegler. She's being escorted by her parents. Danielle is a four-year member of the Destiny Darlings dance team and was lieutenant last year. Her favorite memory is walking through the Disney Castle onto the national floor with her team for the first time. Danielle was selected as an All-American at UDA camp and was part of the competitive team who were the losing 2 years. She competed in the National Dance Team Championship where the Destinies are currently ranked 10th in the nation for hip-hop. Danielle was dedicated by her teammates last year. She plans on attending Southeastern Louisiana University to pursue her master's to become a certified registered nurse anesthetist. Next senior is Taylor Goubert. She's been escorted by her parents, Stephanie and Val Goubert. Taylor is a 4-year member of the Destiny Darlings dance team and presently holds offensive captain. Her favorite memory is walking out of the castle at Nationals and goofing off with the girls she grew close to. Taylor was selected as an All-American at UDA camp and was part of the competitive team who were the Louisiana State Champions 2 years in a row. She also competed in the National Dance Team Championship, where the Destinies are currently ranked 10th in the nation for hip-hop. Taylor was voted most outstanding freshman, sophomore, and junior by her teammates. She also received the Full Out Superwoman Award. Taylor plans to attend Southeastern Louisiana University and study chemistry and forensics. Our last senior is Emma LaSalle. She's been escorted by her parents, Marcia and Bill LaSalle. Emma is a 4-year member of the Destiny Darlings dance team. Her favorite memory is team bonding at the UDA camp each year. Emma has received the Most Improved Award. She will attend LSU to pursue a degree in biomedical engineering on a pre-med track in pediatrics. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Senior Destiny Darlings and their families. Let's give one more big round of applause for our band seniors and parents, cheerleader seniors and parents, and the Destiny seniors and parents.
Yeah, there's like a minute left. So you better go.
Central Defense 21, Thibodeau 14. At halftime, Newman 42, Fisher nothing. The third quarter, Amy 41, St. Thomas Aquinas nothing. Halftime, St. James 7, St. Charles nothing.
And we are back. The start of the second half.
In the third quarter,
Wildcats kicking off the Terrebonne to get things started.
Michael Irvin set kickoff. The Fighting Wildcats. Davis Nick for the Tigers. Also in the third quarter, East St. John 34, South Lafourche nothing.
Mike Armin getting ready to kick off. Fielded, 5-yard line. And he's taken down at about the 16-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Terrebonne.
Let's see if Terrebonne can get something going here early in the second half. They're in a better position than what they were in at the end of the second half. They have all their timeouts now. They've had a chance to cool down and collect themselves, and now they really have their eyes on the prize on what the mission should be going forward, and that's to score points and come out with a W, keep their composure, and just keep Destrehan from imposing their will on them.
That's right. Hopefully they had a good talk at halftime about what they did wrong in the first half, how to better discipline themselves because of all those unsportsmanlike conduct penalties they got called on them.
Douglas in that quarterback for the Tigers. Takes a snap, hands it off to Chaz Ward. Trying to find something around the left side, but swallowed up.
That'll be a loss of yards on the play. Second and 15 for Terrebonne at their own 13-yard line.
One back in the backfield, sends a guy in motion. Douglas receives the snap, hands it off to Ward. Nothing right there. Maybe a gain of 1, maybe 2.
And it looks like Destrehan is keeping their composure on defense right now. And that will be a gain of 2. 3rd and 13 for the Tigers at their own 15-yard line.
Douglas at quarterback. Ward behind it to the left side, going as a blocker. Douglas drops back, scrambles up, looking to make something happen out of nothing. Get some good yardage right there.
And almost scrambled for the first down, but comes up about 4 or 5 yards short of it. That makes it 4th and 5 for Terrebonne at their own 23-yard line. And it looks like they're going to bring their punting unit on the field as Dontrell Smith is off to receive the punt.
Terrebonne late to get a guy on the field. Number 7 coming out in this position.
And not a good
Short
punt.
but high punt.
Very short punt by Terrebonne.
Terrebonne trying to be slick and tap the ball back to pin the Wildcats further back, but Ray Charles could have seen that he touched it.
And Destrehan coaches on the sideline called it 2. Ball will be placed at the 47-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
J.R. Blood looking to go to work in the second half. Emery alone back in the backfield. Blood slings it out. Gets some great yardage right there by number 9 for Destrehan.
And that will be a 1st down for the Wildcats.
Watch his Blood, smooth and undercover. Takes the ball, goes straight to number 9. And once he recovers, number 8, excuse me. And he takes it, he's trying to find something around the edge. Can't find nothing, so
and
getting tackled, almost out of bounds.
When they're getting into Terrebonne's territory.
High snap of Blood, brings it down, slings it to number 3, Quentin Tolbert with a nasty juke move around the 30-yard line.
What a move by Torber to get some extra yards.
Flag on the play. Seems to be on Terrebonne. Now watch.
Look at the way Torber will juke his way to the right.
That's why
shake
he's a
off the
Mississippi
defender.
State commit. That's why he's an SEC talent. Now watch.
There it is.
Pump the brakes. Speed up. Get around. Slow down. Different quarter, same song. Terrebonne shooting themselves in the foot with another personal foul. This time on number 15.
And Terrebonne just has had too many penalties tonight.
When you do moves like that to opposing player, that just demoralizes them and takes away all their confidence. Because everybody in the stadium seeing you.
Especially with this blazing Wildcats offense to just move the ball at every chance they get.
Blood looking for it wide open to number 8.
Good pass by Blood.
Destrehan hasn't slowed down one bit. Watch. Blood knows exactly where he's going when the ball gets in his hands. He takes it, fakes it to Emery, and he goes straight for number 8.
Blood pass right down the middle. And that makes the score Wildcats 41, Tigers 7.
See, that just goes to show you in the projected power rankings, Destrehan, even though they have one loss,
they're still ranked higher than Terrebonne. They're at number 2.
Exactly. And that's because Destrehan's one loss was against a Power 5 team in John
Right,
Merritt.
right. You see, Terrebonne, I mean, they're a good football team, don't get me wrong, but they haven't had as tough of a schedule as Destrehan.
Exactly.
And that's why they're ranked number 6.
Exactly. They had to give them the benefit of the doubt for the projected spots because, you know, they're undefeated. You can't just not give credit to that.
Right. And the score now with that extra point is Wildcats 42, Tigers 7 with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter.
And I have to say, this is a great day to be a Wildcat fan.
And I think knowing Stephen Robichaux's style, at some point he doesn't like running up the score anymore, so I think eventually we're going to see some backups in this game.
Yeah, down the line.
Rest their starters before the playoffs, don't want any major injuries to their key players.
Exactly, especially going into the playoffs. This is something that you really don't want.
Right. And hopefully when that bracket comes out, Destrehan, they do have a chance to get that first round bye.
Yeah. Destrehan, they're returning to form. Well, last year, Hahnville put a wrench in their system by just coming in here and handling business against the annual rivalry game, and then Hahnville captured the district championship, and Destrehan lost to Barb in the second round of the playoffs. There are flags on the play.
I think this is going to go against Destrehan. No?
The refs trying to see what's happening.
Making a discussion. Here comes the ref with the decision. That will be an illegal block on the back on Terrebonne, and that will set them back. 1st and 10. And the ball is placed at their own 10-yard line.
Wildcats still in that 50 defense, one high safety. Number 22, Tyler Morton. Now you see Keyshawn James in that quarterback for the Tigers.
That'll be a gain of about 5 on the play. That's 2nd and 5 for the Tigers at their own 15-yard line.
Man in motion. Hand off. This little pickup right there.
Say gain of about 4, just short of the first down. Third and 1 for the Tigers. And the ball is at their own 19-yard line.
They tried to run the play when the injured player was coming off the field. Number 98, Jeremiah Murphy.
And that'll be a first down picked up by Terrebonne. First and 10 for the Tigers at their own 22-yard line.
Ooh, Douglas is getting some good yardage right there.
Second and 3 for Terrebonne.
James scrambling, can't find anything, and hounded on by the Wildcats.
Swallowed up in the backfield. Third and 5 for Terrebonne at their own 27-yard line. And he will get the first down on a pickup of about 6. First down, Terrebonne Tigers.
James in at quarterback for the Tigers. James drops back, looking, hits number 4. Attempted to hit number 4, but number 4 couldn't manage to hold on to the ball. That's one thing that's been, another thing that's been hurting Terrebonne. They can't hold on to the ball. They keep on getting the ball thrown to them in good field position.
They keep getting lucky though, that's the thing. They do keep recovering their own fumbles, but one of these fumbles isn't going to be so lucky and it's going to go in the other direction. 10 yards to go on second down for the Tigers.
Guy comes to motion. Fake. Juking, but gets no type of yardage. Wildcats read that thing like a children's book.
And it's third down for the Terrebonne Tigers. Ball is at their own 35-yard line. About 5 minutes and 20 seconds left remaining in the third quarter.
One back, James rolls around. Nearly crushed, but gets the ball out quick enough.
And there's a flag down on the play.
Possibly pass interference against Destrehan. That was like a millisecond decision by James to get rid of that ball. And if he didn't, that would have potentially been a sack fumble. But that was a good decision by him. Penalties on Dontrell James. It was called against Dontrell James, but it's clearly against number 6. The reason why they called pass interference on that is because the defender didn't get his head around. And if you get your head around and look at the ball, they're probably not going to call it. But he was turned looking face to face with the receiver. And so they're going to call the penalty every time.
And that penalty will give new life back to Terrebonne on this drive. First and 10 at the 50-yard line.
Hand off to Chaz Ward. Nice little pickup right there.
Second and 6 for the Tigers at now Destrehan's 45-yard line.
James takes the snap. Looking deep downfield. Has a guy beat. Looks like the receiver just gave up on the play right there. I mean, he was locked down for majority, but he could have at least made an effort to go towards it and catch the ball.
Good coverage by Champ Craven on the play. And now it's 3rd and 6 for the Tigers at Destrehan's 45-yard line.
James and that quarterback takes a snap, hands off to Chaz Ward. Ward scrambling, looking for something. Ooh, gets a nice open lane, but it's ankle tackle by number 22, Tyler Morton.
And if he would have just broken one more tackle, he would have been gone. And now it's 1st and 10 for the Tigers at Destrehan's 31-yard line.
Ward trying to find something, finally gets some open yardage and gets in for another score. Scores now 42-14.
42-13. But assuming he makes the extra point.
Yeah, you're right.
He'll be 14. And that was just Terrebonne's 2nd time scoring tonight.
That score breathed new life into their fans. I have to commend the fans of Terrebonne. For one, they came out and gave excellent support to the boys. Came all the way from Bayou to Destrehan, and they almost filled up that whole visitor side. And then even after halftime being down, they're still here in support of the guys.
Right, we have 12 buses here tonight, and that's just for students and the band and cheerleaders. It's not just a football team. So we had a lot of support for this Terrebonne team tonight. And I think was the extra point blocked. The extra point was no good by Terrebonne, so the score remains 42-13.
Three minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
And Dontrell Smith alone. Never mind, that's John Emery alone to receive the kickoff.
From Destrehan, I wouldn't even have John Emery in the game right now.
Kick is up.
And back.
Ball will come out to the 20-yard line. Here comes Harold Blood and company.
Like you said, the Wildcats are back in business on this drive. Looking to score another time. Shake up on the offensive line. Number 73, Kerwin Mitchell is in. Hand off to Kyle Lewis.
And he'll lose some yards on that play. $12 yards to go on 2nd down for the Wildcats at their own 18-yard line.
Blood gets the snap, hands it off to Edwards.
Getting a 4 on the play. Getting a 8 on the play. 3rd and 4 for the Wildcats at their own 26-yard line. And it looks like that's going to be offsides on Terrebonne. And that will be first down for the Wildcats, moving about 5 yards up at their own 31-yard line. Two minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
And off to Edwards.
Gain of 5 on the play. 2nd and 5 for the Wildcats at their own 36-yard line.
Another handoff. Potential horse collar right there. But it's a no call. Update around 5A. Hahnville up 48-0 against HL Bourgeois.
3rd and 5 for the Wildcats.
Central Lafourche is trailing, and Central Lafourche is leading Thibodaux by a touchdown, 28-21. And East St. John is pouring it on South Lafourche, 50-0. Nice shot right there. Another news, John Everett is up on LW Higgins 39-0.
First and 10 for the Wildcats on Terrebonne's 46-yard line.
Dominic, going forward, who do you see being the power player in 5A?
I think Destrehan has a really good shot going forward. I think if they keep playing like this.
Nothing but daylight around the edge for number 24 from Destrehan. What you're saying, you said they keep on playing like this.
Yeah, if they keep playing like this, I think they have a really good shot to go forward. But you also got to look at West Monroe. West Monroe, they always have a good football team.
Yeah.
And I think that's who's ranked number 1 right now. West Monroe's ranked number 1 right now. And, they almost went all the way last year, but lost in the 3rd round, I think. And you can't overlook Barb either because they beat Destrehan in the 2nd round of the playoffs last year. So, but Destrehan keeps this up.
Yeah.
They're a real contender to go to the Dome.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer of whoever wins the Hahnville-Destrehan game is going to be a top contender to go to the finals. And you've seen that last year. Hahnville came in here to Destrehan, won, and managed to go straight to the Dome. They had some trials and tribulations along the way.
Right.
You had to go to Ruston, and you had to take on Acadiana at Acadiana. But another team that I think is a team that beat Destrehan already, John Everett.
Right.
They're up on LW Higgins 37-0 right now. I mean, that's not really saying much because Higgins is a lower tier school. But if they can stay disciplined, look to see John Everett make some waves in the 5A race too.
And that took us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the score Destrehan 42, Terrebonne 13, and we'll be right back.
Want to stay in the loop with your school system? Like and follow St. Charles Parish Public Schools on Facebook and keep up with academic achievement, sports and athletics, extracurricular activities, news and events, and in case of an emergency, we'll be here to make sure you're in the loop. You and I, we are St. Charles Parish Public Schools. Follow SCPPS and our official school accounts for the latest news, events.
And here we go with the start of the fourth quarter. Destrehan's on the 3-yard line, knocking on the door to score again.
You know, the real workhorse for the last drive has been number 24, Edwin Green.
And there he is again, Edwin Green, up the middle for 6.
Every running back for the Destrehan Wildcats in their normal rotation is eating today. Emory has had 2 touchdowns. Kyle Edwards has a couple. And now Edwin Green is getting in on the action.
And I don't think he scored. I think there was some confusion on the field. He actually didn't score on that. So at the 1-yard line.
Ryder in motion. Look for Edwin Green to get the ball once again. Blood takes it, gives it to Green, bounces out, and is denied once again. Now, I'm not saying pull a full-on Pete Carroll and throw it at the 1-yard line, but seems like Terrebonne has stacked up the defense. Come on the goal line defense. There's an injured player on the field. Back to the projected favorites to win the championship. You can't really underestimate and ignore the team who won last year, the 5A, Zachary.
Zachary, I didn't think about them. You're right. Zachary, they beat Hahnville last year with Hahnville last year. They had Puka Williams, who actually was almost affecting that game until he got injured, and that kind of put a bump. That was kind of a bummer for Hahnville as they went on to lose that game.
Hahnville was really capitalizing on the option between Jaquan Jackson, the receiver, converted to quarterback, and Anthony Williams, just the all-around ace. But when Jackson went down with an injury too, his mobility was stipend, and he had to rely more on his arm. And Williams was trying to do Williams, but Zachary was just a little too much. And that squad was just a squad of young guys composed of sophomores and juniors, so don't count those guys out yet up north. Very well-disciplined team.
But there's still a lot of football left to be played in this high school football season.
Yes, sir. When the temperature drops like this, that's when the real teams come out to play.
Really. It's going to be nice night for football. Third and 1, and it looks like in Terrebonne because of timeout. Here comes Destrehan's offense. Back at the 1-yard line on 3rd down, trying to punch it in for another score. Edwin Green in the backfield with Blood.
It's probably Blood's last series. Ryder goes into motion. Blood with the keeper, scampers around.
That will bring the score to Wildcats 48, Tigers 13. And there's a flag on the play. May be called for unsportsmanlike conduct, excessive celebration on the Wildcats. Looks like they got a little too rowdy there after that touchdown. Now for Terrebonne, you can't look at this game and let this one game define them. You know, they were undefeated all year till this point, and they just had a bad game. They had too many penalties. They weren't disciplined this game.
Yeah, the season isn't a lost cause for the Tigers. You know, this is the best season they've had in a very long time, and I'm really, to say the least, proud of the guys. Continue to fight and continue and give their effort on the field.
They just look at it as a wake-up call and say, all right, we need to play better football than this.
Yeah,
we want to make it to the Dome.
Yeah, but the majority of the thing that's really hurting them is themselves.
Right.
You know, Destrehan capitalized on the mental errors and the disciplinary errors, but
they're taking advantage of all their mistakes.
You can't say these guys didn't show good effort.
And here comes Destrehan's extra point unit. Michael Ehrman steps back. Ehrman's kick is up, and it's good. It's right down the middle to make the score. Wildcats 49, Tigers 13. With 10 minutes and 51 seconds left in the second half.
You know, Dominic, some people have labeled this weekend as the best weekend for sports, especially football in Louisiana.
We had this game tonight, which was the district championship. We have LSU and Alabama. They play tomorrow. Yeah. And the Saints play the undefeated Rams on Sunday.
But the people that really started off was last night. Warren Easton and Carr. That was a great game. Came down at 1 point. That's in 4A football. That's always interesting
to watch. You know, those guys from the city, they always come with a little bit of flavor, a little bit of swag, a little bit of fire to them.
Right.
Not as much grown man and beef between them as 5A, but, you know, they keep it clean, they keep it nice, and they put on a great show.
So that's right. If you like football, then this is definitely the weekend to watch it.
Yes.
And that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Destrehan will set them back on this kickoff. Will give the Tigers better field position on their next drive.
Maybe Terrebonne could capitalize on this one.
I don't know. Yeah, my light wasn't on. I was really nervous. But wait, hold up. Is it plugged in? I'm about to text somebody. And the ball is fielded at the 50-yard line. Return of about 10 yards. Terrebonne have the ball, 1st and 10 at the Wildcats 40-yard line.
Tigers come back out. James at quarterback. The bottom of the screen, you have all-around athlete Ja'Kai Douglas. Handoff to Chaz Ward, taking it around the end.
Good pickup of about 6 yards in the play. 2nd and 5 for the Tigers at Destrehan's 35-yard line.
Quarterback keeper.
And it's a gain of about 4 yards on the play. 4th and 1 for the Tigers. Pick up the first down. 1st and 10 for the Tigers. At Destrehan's 25-yard line. 9.5 minutes left to go in this ball game. Good coverage.
Destrehan, they tried to get it to Ja'Kai Douglas. Shut down by number 22.
That was Dontrell Smith breaking up the pass. 2nd and 10 for Terrebonne.
James trying to make something happen.
And it looks like that will be gain about 9 on the play. Just short of the first down. That was a gain of 8 on the play. 3rd and 2 for the Tigers. At Destrehan's 17-yard line. And that brings up first down for the Tigers. Five yards from the end zone. And the Tigers, even though down big, they're not giving up. Oh! And the quarterback almost sagged, tossed it up in the air, hoping for something to happen. And good thing his trusted receivers right there to catch it and make the score, bringing the score Destrehan 49, Terrebonne 19. And here comes Terrebonne's kicking unit for the point after. And the extra point is up and good. That brings the score Wildcats 49, Tigers 20, with 7 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Special thanks to the people of PPG and Randy Walter Harper for their support. Tuesday meal for the players and coaches. Special thanks to Fred Wonder, and Tuesday meal for the senior players and parents. And there's been great support all night by these Wildcat fans. The fans on the home side is still packed and supporting their team. The student section has been really into it all game.
Most definitely. You know, for the most part, Terrebonne's fans are still sticking around too. Kudos to them.
But you know that's another big part you need for a football team to win. You need to have your fans on your side too, staying strong and supporting them because you know, football teams, they feed off that. They feed off that energy.
Yeah, your own will can take you about probably 2 quarters, maybe 3. But the fan energy and the fan support, I mean, that just amps you up and that pumps that adrenaline that brings you to another level.
And as the Wildcats they're gonna have some home playoff games.
John Emery's still in the game, no reason why, but he's taking it to around the 17-yard line.
So you should expect the same kind of turnout for the Wildcats home playoff games with all of these fans with the same energy. It's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 15-yard line.
Blood is the man in motion, number 9, Carson Ryder. Handoff. Edwards trying to tiptoe for some more yards, but stopped.
That'll be a gain of 3, 2nd and 7 for the Wildcats.
Blood hands it off. Nice, quick feet right there by Kyle Edwards.
And kind of surprising me that Coach Robichaux still has Blood in the game, up by 29 points with 6 minutes left.
Maybe around 4 minutes or on the next drive, you'll see some young guys getting rotations in. Because, you know, for the most part, you have this game locked up. It's not over till the whistle sounds, but
right.
You know, you should start seeing some of your older guys and some of your starters offsides on Terrebonne encroachment. But you start seeing some of your older guys and key players get off the field, especially your linemen. Your linemen are people that you want healthy in the playoffs, because that's the last thing you want to have an incredible run like they did this season, only for it to be derailed by an injury to a key player.
And that's been the story of this ball game. Penalties, penalties, penalties on Terrebonne.
Different quarter, same song.
They need to be better disciplined than this to win football games, because they've given up a lot of yards and penalties tonight. And that's one of the main reasons that Destrehan keeps scoring.
Destrehan pulling the man. Kyle Edwards getting just a runway. So they're going to pick up a good gain right there.
First and 10 to Destrehan.
Got the ball to number 27. Kyle Edwards. Give him a 4 right there.
That'll be a gain of 4 for the Wildcats. 2nd and 6 at Terrebonne's 27-yard line.
Blood gets the ball up to Green. Gain of 5 on the play.
That'll bring it to 3rd and 1 at Terrebonne's 17-yard line. No mistake, the 22-yard line.
Snap the blood, hands it off to Green. Flag on the play.
That's holding on Destrehan. And that'll bring them back 10 yards, which makes it 3rd and 11 at Terrebonne's 32-yard line. 4 minutes and 8 seconds left in this ball game.
Hand off to Green, slips.
And that'll be a loss of yards on the play. Be 4th and 14 for Destrehan. 4th and 16 for the Wildcats. Looks like they're going to keep their offense on the field. Destrehan takes a timeout. Their first of the second half. And looks like Destrehan's going to bring their punting unit out. And with this, it looks like we're going to have time to see one more Terrebonne drive.
First punt of the day for Destrehan.
And he downs it at the 1-yard line. That was beautiful.
Down at the 1-yard line.
The way he tossed it in the air to his teammates down at the 1-yard line. incredible play by Destrehan, but it looks like it's going to be called for a touchback. But again, incredible effort by Destrehan.
Great effort. You know, that reminds me of a play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pulled off against the New Orleans Saints 3 years ago.
Right.
When on a punt, they just got it down. It was completely just, it looked like the circus out there. They got it down at the 1 yard line with incredible acrobatics.
I remember that. And we have 1st and 10 for Terrebonne at their own 20-yard line.
Seeing a rotation of some defensive players for Destrehan.
And Terrebonne still trying to score at least one more time.
Nice game right there. You know, Terrebonne, you could say out the gate, they got gashed. They tried to stop the bleeding. But after that, Destrehan just ripped off the Band-Aid once again. And they're just pouring salt in the wound now. Douglas drops back.
Incomplete pass.
Once again, another drop ball by Terrebonne.
And he was wide open that time.
Commit Chaz Ward, he's still out there fighting for yards.
Completed pass by Douglas.
I'll be gain of about 8 on the play. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4 for Terrebonne at Destrehan's 49-yard line.
Douglas drops that pass, unloads on a deep rocket pass to number 2.
And it's just overthrown. Grazes the fingertips of the receiver. Third and 4 for the Tigers.
1 minute and 19 seconds left to go in this game.
Douglas with some Michael Vick action. Gains a couple of yards.
Fourth down and 1 for the Tigers. At Destrehan's 45-yard line.
Hand off to Chaz Ward once again. Stuff.
And I don't think he got the first down. Looks like the ball ball will go down to Destrehan, go back to Destrehan's offense with 39 seconds left in this ball game, and I think we should just see a victory formation by this Wildcat offense. Wildcats in victory formation.
This game is like a synopsis of Terrebonne season. Smoke and mirrors. It was hyped up to be a great, great game.
And Destrehan ruins Terrebonne's perfect season. Final score, Wildcats 49, Tigers 20. I'm Dominic Marino.
And I'm Brandon Thomas.
Join us in the postseason for the first home playoff game for Destrehan. And please stick around for Destrehan High band performance as they'll perform their show for the 2018 season. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Next Friday night as the Fighting Wildcats will open state playoff
home. I'm saying, where you going? Do you need us to move is what I'm asking, because we're just... That one. I'm saying this like an old person. My neck hurts and my back hurts.
Let the guys who
My neck, my back. It's like hell.
Can y'all pick up the press box?
It's all sitting
Y'all
in
did?
nothing.
Yeah,